Thank you for coming here after lunch on a gorgeous day like this. I was thinking that maybe we'll have 3 people, but there's a little more than 3. So thank you for being here. And my aim is to make this interactive and not too boring. So let's get going. The title is Beyond the Mind's Maze, and I'm going to stop that or just say Unlocking the Body's Wisdom, as this is a very long title. And now I just need to learn how to do this. Oh. So this has no purpose then, because it's not happening there. Okay. So just a few words about the workshop. In this workshop, we will explore the 3 levels of knowledge and how to use the heart and gut brain in compassionate inquiry. We won't talk too much about the skull brain because we live there most of the time. And this is not something I find that we need assistance with. It's more the coming down from here to the heart and to the gut. We will learn about the origin of defense mechanisms, their function, and how to work with them in compassionate inquiry, or compassionately. How to recognize and compassionately guide the clients who find it challenging to connect with their emotions, and of course also their body sensations. And we will learn about some practices to support embodiment. If we as practitioners live in our heads exclusively or most of the time, then we're going to find it challenging to invite and hold space for people's emotions and body sensations. So one of the things we're going to do today is to learn some practices. And of course, this is something you can pass on to your clients. So the 3 levels are head, heart, and gut. And just a little bit about the head. So starting at the top, it's actually the newest part of the brain, the latest developed evolutionarily and also in our individual development as well. And it's the cortex is the prefrontal cortex, the helm of the ship. This is where we plan, anticipate. That's where we have a sense of time. We have the ability to inhibit inappropriate actions, and there's empathy and understanding also lives in this area. A little bit below that, the limbic brain, which develops at birth. Actually, the prefrontal cortex, as you can see there, it develops fully at around age 25. So that gives us some understanding about our teenage children or teenage almost adults. Their prefrontal cortex is not completely developed, and that shows. So in the limbic brain is mainly the emotional, but we also call it the emotional brain. And this is where we gather the information, process, and respond to the external world and also our internal world. The brainstem is the lowest part of the brain, just above the spine, and it develops in utero. And it is responsible for the basic housekeeping items: arousal, sleep-wake states, hunger, satiation, breathing, and chemical balance. So Bessel van der Kolk says no matter how much insight and understanding we develop, the rational brain is basically impotent to talk the emotional brain out of its own reality. And this is why I'm not spending that much time on the rational brain today. So in ancient traditions, and even not so long ago, people believed that emotions originated from the heart. And they connected certain emotions to the heart. And then neuroscience came along, and the belief was that all emotions and consciousness is created and resides in the skull brain. And in the last about 30 years, there are a lot of research around what's happening with the heart's nervous system. What happens with the nerves that we find in the heart? And it turns out that the heart has its own nervous system. And so it can actually do quite well without input from the brain. And this nervous system communicates with the brain, and it evokes emotions. Who would have known? And it also affects perception and interoception. It has an ability to learn, to have memory, and to problem solve. And it gives input to the brain about these things, and the brain actually listens. So they call it the little brain of the heart, this own nervous system in the heart. And they established that the heart is actually a sensory organ, and it has a quite sophisticated system dealing with information, encoding, and processing. So they decided to call it heart brain. And Sadram talked about the bidirectional flow of information with the vagus nerve, and it's about 80-90% from the gut to the brain and 10 to 20% in the other direction. So just from that one fact, we know that it's quite important for the gut to communicate to the head. And so when it doesn't happen because we cut it off due to early influences and early trauma, then things go sideways. And in this going sideways, we will have emotional, mental, and physical symptoms. So the Hungarian, I don't know what kind of organization, but some kind of organization has an award that they hand out to scientists, doctors, authors. And one year they nominated Gabor for the Quack Award. And he didn't, you know what quack means? Everybody know? It's somebody who appears to be a doctor or some sort of health provider, but what they're doing is basically BS. It's not based in science. So he was nominated for the Quack Award. And the reason that they gave for that was that he overemphasizes the relationship between stress and physical conditions. And so the polyvagal system and the vagus nerve, when I mentioned that every moment it checks in for safety, and when there is the possibility for co-regulation, so you are there as a therapist with your client and you're present and attuned and compassionate, non-stressed, their nervous system keeps checking in. Are you with me? Are you with me? Are you with me? And if you are with your desire for your client to feel and to get somewhere, possibly today, then you're not with them. And their nervous system will know immediately. Okay? And then there is the part where the client is not there yet to be able to recognize that it's a defense mechanism, they needed it, they don't need it now. When their process will take them there, we don't know. Right? So when the early messaging in our lives were that emotions are not safe or not allowed, not welcomed, no space for them, there's nobody to hold them, then there is wisdom in suppressing the emotions. And when that system can change into trusting that we can get in touch with the emotion and we can express them, that only depends on us to the degree of how safe we create, like how we create a safe environment and a safe container and holding for our clients. Outside of that, it's their process. And remember, trust the process. Have confidence that you can hold space and you can co-regulate. And the speed is not up to us. And what the client will start to learn if we do these short interactions and invitations with the acknowledgement that the defense mechanism had a function and it served them, that slowly they learn that it is safe to be in this contained, safe environment and allow to get in touch with the emotions and the body sensations. Okay, so Sataram also talked about top-down and bottom-up regulation and what can strengthen it. And she presented beautiful yoga exercises. I'm not doing that. We're going to do a little bit of breathing. So meditation and yoga are a couple of ways of working with top-down. And bottom-up regulation is breathing, movement, including yoga, of course, and touch. So bottom-up is when we start from the body, so creating connection, awareness, safety in the body. And from the bottom down, or from the top down, it's from the mind. So engaging the prefrontal cortex when the limbic system is active. So when there is an emotion and acknowledging, I'm noticing there is anger, I'm noticing there is fear. And when we say that, the neural pathways are strengthening. And combining both approaches is the most effective way of working with trauma. All right, so ways to stimulate the vagus nerve, deep breathing, a longer exhale than inhale. So if you remember, inhalation stimulates the sympathetic nervous system and it increases heart rate. Exhalation does the opposite. Singing, humming, gargling through stimulating the ventral vagal through the voice box and the larynx. Chanting mantras, which includes, involves a few of these approaches. So you're using your voice, you are repeating mantras, which we actually do all the time, all our lives. We're just not quite aware of it because we keep saying, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough, I'm going to fail at this, I suck, I'm not good enough, you know? These are mantras. And when we replace them with mantras that are not these messages, it serves several purposes. And one of them is that we're changing the tune, we're changing the stuck needle, we're giving a little push to the stuck needle and on the record player. And also there's a physical activation of the vagus. Of course, exercise and dance. Cold water exposure, so it could be ice baths. Hey, Luke. Cold showers. I actually started taking cold showers when I was 15 or 16 because my dad took them. And the reason I knew that he was taking cold showers because what I heard from the washroom was, and I asked him, I said, what's happening? He says, well, it's the cold shower. It's so good. And I said, well, then I'm going to try it. And it is really good. And then, of course, studying Kundalini Yoga, teacher training with Sadaram got me into not starting with warm, because this is what I used to do, starting with warm and then go to cold. And in the middle of February in Toronto, Canada, I started the total cold shower. And I can tell you, it's amazing. Yeah. Dancing. So dancing has not only the nervous system, the parasympathetic nervous system stimulation, but also it produces the feel-good hormones. So you're producing serotonin, oxytocin, endorphins. And if you're humming while you're dancing, then you're adding the stimulation of the vagus nerve. playing musical instruments, including the gong and singing bowl. Okay, so I would like to do a breathing exercise. So I'll invite you to put your left hand on your left knee, and you can put it in Gyan Mudra where your thumb and index finger are touching. Your right thumb comes to your right nostril. The fingers are pointing up. And inhale through the left nostril, and then put your ring finger on the left nostril and exhale through the right nostril. Inhale through the left. Your right thumb is on your right nostril. Exhale through the right. If you feel safe, close your eyes, and your eye gazes to the brow point between your eyebrows. And inhale and exhale, last cycle. All right, and I'll invite you to stand up, come into the dance floor. And let's have some fun. Sound, please.